Alright, what's up everybody? So today is another episode on the Impreza. This is going to be a full episode of the rear quarter panels on this Impreza. So probably not the whole panel bonding and actually like adhering the quarters to the car, but it's going to be doing the fender liners, doing all the cutting, stuff like that. So like I said in the last video, the next episode for this Impreza was going to be here at the shop. And here it is. It's up here at the shop. So I already got it up on the lift. The underside of this is actually really clean, which I'm actually really happy about because I haven't put this up on the lift since I've bought it, just because it's been at my house. So like front end, yeah, it's all oily. Everything on this thing is leaking, but that's okay because it's all getting replaced. So like the floor pan areas in the front, a little rusty, like little surface rust here and there, but nothing terrible. Once we clean it up and seal everything, it's going to be good to go. Floors aren't rotted, which is good. This entire, the whole driver's side is actually perfectly clean, besides the little tiny areas of surface rust, which will be cleaned up and then resealed. But this whole area is actually nice and clean, no rot at all. So I'm super excited about that. All the rust that you see is all pieces that are going to be taken off. But so this side, the whole front section of this is actually good. It's just surface rust again. So all of that would be cleaned. It's this area back here where this pinch weld, I guess I should say, used to be. There's some holes. Same with over here. It's all crusty and it goes in through it. So this whole area is just gonna have to be cut out and just replated with some steel. So I already knew about that when I bought it. I knew about just that one area. So that doesn't scare me. I know I got to fix all that anyway. But then the frame rails back here, again, just some, I'd say some, not light surface rust, but I'd say some heavy surface rust. Like some of this OEM paint is just peeling off of it. All that stuff will get wire wheeled, ground down, and then primered and resealed. This side is actually super clean, so I'm happy about that. And then actually the rear subframe actually isn't that bad, but I have new subframes going in. But then just of course, like in the last video I showed you, these areas are not I wouldn't say really bad. I've seen a lot worse than this. All of that is gonna have to be cut out anyway and then just replated just so it's sealed. Same with this side, same thing. All the rotted area will be cut out, and then whatever I needed to cut out, which will expose the inside of the trunk, I'll just go back and replate with some steel. Make sure the whole inside of the car is sealed out from the outside. So then what I'm going to do is lower it down, probably take the back wheels off, and we'll get these quarter panels off, and maybe I'll make the first cut on either side. Alright, so before I took the quarter panels off, I marked the line of where I want the outside cut to be. So right over here I kind of like changed it a couple times to try and figure out how I want it to kind of like swoop back in a little bit, but at the same time all of this is rotted, so I'm gonna have to cut it out anyway. Same with like this right here. I'm probably gonna have to go farther than this into this area, but just for now, as like a first cut, that's what I'm going to do. Same with like here, so it kind of got a little confusing because I drew this one. This one I marked flat with where the actual, I would just call it like this area of the quarter panel. That's right where that is, and I want it to be a little bit higher than that because of the, I guess I'll call it a tub. The tub that I'm going to make that will then seal both pieces together. I want to be a little bit higher than that because it's going to technically be like the inner like fender arch area, so I want that to be up a little bit taller, so I had to just redo this one time. I did the side first, that's why I did a little trial. And then on this side over here is the one that I did afterwards, so this is about a ½ an inch or so taller than what the arch of the quarter panel will actually be. So I'm just waiting for my battery to charge a little bit, and then we're gonna start cutting. I gotta get the wheels off too, and then we're gonna cut this outside piece off, and then maybe just try and cut the inner piece flush with where this one is. Alright, so you just saw me cut this side, just off camera right now. I just cut out some of the rotted area right here, that also went down to here. So, just gonna have to start figuring out how far over I need to cut more in order to start getting some like cleaner metal so I can start sealing it, start welding it together. But, so literally, if you guys, I don't know if you guys were able to see on the camera or not, this outer piece, when I finished cutting down here, or it was over on this side, I forget, but it literally just fell apart from this area right here, and you can see this is even just crumbling away. Like, it's literally just falling off. Literally, it just keeps on crumbling out. So that is all on its way out. Obviously, all of that rotted area is going to be all cut out anyway. I still have to cut all down in that area too. Let me get a light. So all of that is just crumbling. Obviously, I gotta, like I just said, I gotta cut all that area still out. But yeah, so I cut a little bit right there, and then now I just finished doing this side. This side's still smoking. I just literally just finished cutting this side. So this side, same thing. It started crumbling away on me once I got the outer layer off. And I also cut out some areas of right here that were all rotted. So still just got to do some cleanup on that, and then I'll start making some metal pieces right there to seal that back up. But it's not that bad. I figured too, maybe with this coupe in the background, I didn't get to show this one yet because obviously I haven't been up at the shop. But this is the donor coupe for the powertrain, the drivetrain that's going into this thing. So this thing I picked up has a JDM 2006 STI, full STI swap. So engine, transmission, rear diff, the axles, the knuckles, literally everything out of an 06 JDM STI. This is actually the factory twin scroll engine. It actually has a Tomei equal length twin scroll header on it, which I think is actually pretty sweet. Has a couple like modifications done to it. It's got like Perrin intake, Tomei inlet, stock intercooler, stock injectors. Right now it just has like an NVIDIA turbo back on it. I have a new exhaust and stuff for it. iWire did the harness merge, so I know the harness is good, which is nice. That's what I really liked about it too. But basically, this thing's not going to be getting touched as of yet. We still have a lot of work to do on this one before we can start taking things out of this. So basically, the plan is to get the quarter panels and the rear fender areas 100% done. That's what's going to be going on now. Then we're going to start stripping out everything. So literally the whole rear subframe, rear end, front end, engine, tranny, diff, literally the entire underside is going to be stripped to nothing. And then at that point, we're going to do some refinishing and stuff, obviously all the rust repair that we need to do. And then we're also going to be grinding a lot of the undercarriage, like all the factory undercoating stuff off of it, because then we're going to go back through, and I have some Pour 15 that we're going to spray on the entire underbody of this. And then what I just got is this Raptor liner stuff. So I've got black and I've got some white. So black is going to go for the entire underside, and then I'm going to do white for all of the fender wells. So obviously it's not going to be in here, but it's going to be the entire inside of this. Same with the entire front fender well, which you guys can't see right now, but all of that is going to be all white. All the inner fender liners will be white, and then the entire underbody is going to be Raptor lined black. So basically what I want is literally a 0% chance of getting any type of rust on this thing ever again. So I'm going through all of the steps, all of the measures to make sure that this thing is 100% and will always be 100%. This one's my personal one, so this thing I'm going to the T. Everything's going to be done, and it's going to be, I honestly can't wait for this thing to be done. It's going to be so much fun. So I have the quarter panels cut all the way. So last time I just had the small little arches cut on them, but I've talked to a couple other people who have done wide body kits like this before, and I went back and forth if I was going to cut the whole quarter panels or not, or just obviously just cut the opening that I had before. And a lot of them have just cut the entire quarter panel out just for weight savings, and obviously the new one's going to be panel bonded on, so it's going to act as the outer layer. Alright, so just like you guys saw on the time lapse, I just cut this, I'm going to call it like a strut tower reinforcement slash like fender well reinforcement. It's actually pretty thin, but like the curves and stuff make it more structural. It goes right here. I can show you on the, obviously you just saw it, but that piece right there. So I cut it all out because of that rust in the back, and I actually just cut the hole a little bit bigger. And a previous repair was literally just this like flexible, kind of looks like the like aluminum foil tape, kind of. It was just literally siliconed in place, and there was still like holes, like you guys just saw, to make all this still rust and rot. So I cut this flush so I can figure out what I'm going to do with that. Obviously there's still loose rust right there, but the rust goes up a little bit higher. Luckily most of this is just like surface, so same with like right here. So I'm pretty sure I could grind all that, grind all this, and grind the top up in here, and I could build just a plate that's exactly that shape and just tack it into place, and then start doing the final welding, and then I can seal it from the strut tower side completely, unlike what they did last time, and it'll actually be like solid metal instead of this flexible aluminum foil, and then it'll be fixed the right way. So I couldn't get my angle grinder up into here to cut the rest of this piece out so I could access the rest of this, so I'm gonna have to get my air saw and cut this higher up so I can reach the rest. And then once I figure out how much more I gotta widen this, I'll just box this back in with more metal, and then that'll be all back to normal. So that's what I just did on that side. This side, obviously I still need to get going on it. This is probably what I'll start cutting now. This one, hopefully I could just get a nice clean cut all the way up here, just come across to here, and same back down here, and then hopefully I could access most of it. If not, I'll just have to cut more of the top just like I have to do on the other side. So now I'm gonna go ahead, chop this one up, and I'll get back to you guys afterwards. Alright, well the passenger side isn't much better. It actually rotted through some of the fender well. So this is actually the fender well right here. So actually, obviously you can see the strut right there, but I can put my hand up through here, and it's all like wavy and stuff, so I'm not gonna be able to, I don't have a flat surface like on this side. All of this is still structurally sound, so I can just weld right off of this. This side obviously is all wavy and stuff, so I can't do it to this side. So I think I'm gonna have to do what I didn't want. I don't want to say I didn't want to do it, but I wanted to try and just cut this a little bit to like the clean area and then add onto it with the trailer fenders. But now what I think I'm gonna have to do is cut it back all the way to where it comes flat right here. So the entire fender wells have to be cut out. I'm gonna try and cut around the filler neck. So then this whole piece, I'm sorry, you can't really see it. So then this whole piece all comes out, and then the trailer fender will replace that entire piece. So I'm gonna have to do that, and then unfortunately I'm not gonna just do one side, so that means this side I'm gonna do the same exact thing, cut it from here, this side you can see better, cut it from here, go all the way up so it's flush line up with this, keep going all the way till here and over. Do that on both sides, and then add the trailer fenders on top of that. So unfortunately it's going to be more work than what I intended it to be, but obviously I need to address this rust, and then plus then I'll get rid of all of this area that's all flaky, which who knows, honestly who knows how far back this flake, like this like corrosion actually goes. So I might be better off to just cut it from here and get the whole fender liner off. I think I'm going to put a brand new wheel on the cutoff and chop this fender out. Maybe I'll do the other side. I'm not 100% sure yet. I think I'm going to wait on this side because I want to make sure I can cut around this and then still be able to box this back in afterwards. And then obviously I'll need to figure out something with, once the new fender well is on, I'm going to have to figure out a way to tie into here, into this upper strut area. But that'll be all after. Just obviously I got to focus on getting the fender well in first, and then we can move on from there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just chop this one out. I'm going to go probably flush to here just to start. I got to get the wheel off just so I can get in here, and then we're going to start chopping. So this thing's going to have no more fender well after this. This is starting to spiral more out of control than I originally intended it to. But like I said, I got to get all this rust out of here. Okay, so now I got this side all cut, and like I said, it's spiraling out of control. So now all of this is open. I left this. This is all pretty much solid, besides just up in here, which I can fix. Same still down in here. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for this area here. Basically, I got to get the fender well, the trailer fender in here to see what the arc is going to be right here, or the arch is going to be right here, and then I can figure out how I'm going to attach all of this. But same with under here, I ended up cutting a little bit more down to this inner frame structure piece. And underneath, the side skirt as well is all apart all the way up until here. So up until this B-pillar piece. This is all pretty much not even attached to anything. So I gotta basically weld all that together too underneath. Basically, I'm not gonna make it pretty because the side skirt, the fiberglass side skirt goes over it. So I'm just gonna plate it underneath just so it's sealed, and then obviously all of this will be sealed as well. So now I think what I'm gonna do is maybe just try and fit this, tuck this into the trunk area, so I can get it out of the way. And I'm gonna put the quarter panel on so I can take just a couple measurements to see how far away this is to where the quarter panel is. Man, if only it was as easy as just putting this quarter panel on and just calling it good. But unfortunately not. We have this big gaping hole on the inside of our quarter panel now. So these are the trailer fenders that I was talking about. I forget what the overall diameter of them are. They're like the 14 to 16 inch or something. Basically, see how these have this raised edge on either side. One side is a little bit rolled and one side's just a 90-degree angle. I'm hoping to use probably the 90-degree angle side against the inside of this and bond, basically use the panel bond along this and bond it to the inside of this panel and go up and around, so then it seals this outside layer to that fender liner or fender well, and then it makes it all one piece just like the original one. So that's what I was trying to explain in the previous videos and earlier on in this video. Now what I need to try and do is, since that this is, you know, technically a half circle and this fender well is pretty much a half circle, my plan is to try and get the fender well to work for this area. So now you can kind of see this is a gradual incline, and then it kind of like skips up a little bit, and then this is a pretty steep decline. So I've been holding up that fender to this area to see how exactly I'm going to do it. It looks like maybe what I'll try and do, since that this is all flush with the inside of here, you know, obviously I can't cut this any higher because I'm cutting into like internal body. Match the arch with this side, carry this up higher, and then follow this down and try and follow it down into here and kind of weld it onto this piece, and then obviously cut this more flat and flush like I did with the other side. You can see, well, maybe because now the quarter panel's on, no, you can't really see it, but I cut this more flush with down at the bottom of this frame rail piece. So I'll do the same on this side, and I'll cut this down all the way here just to make that more flush, cut this outer piece off, and then try and tie in the big fender flare piece, the fender well piece. So let me just try and hold this up with one hand and one hand on the camera. Might not be possible, but basically I needed to go something like this in there so it lines up all the way around. Obviously this has to be fitted up higher over here, and then it obviously needs to be trimmed on the back side and on the front side a little bit, but basically then it'll stick out wider than what it originally was, so then that this outer layer can then meet up with this inside part right here. So that's the plan. That's the plan that I have in my head. I just have to figure out with the wheel off, and I gotta take the wheels off and then trim this area and clean up these edges a little bit, but then really try and get into measuring and a lot of test fitting of those fenders and just see what arch works the best. And I know a few other people on my Impreza page on Facebook have used these exact fender wells, so I need to see how they did the arch up here, since that these areas are not like in the same area. So if this arched, it would be like right here, not that high up there. So I just need to look at their pictures. They sent me a bunch, so I gotta just see what they did and basically just go off of what they did. So now all I'm gonna do left for today is just take some measurements from like inside here to the fender, or I should say quarter, like inside here to the quarter, same along with this side. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to cut this out and extend it out. I didn't want to have to do that, but I might have to extend it out to here because this area, you can't really see, it's too dark, but that area in here might be a little bit too far away to try and fit a gas nozzle all the way in. I originally wanted to just mold this area to this piece and keep it in stock location, because I know a couple people that have done that. But unfortunately I might have to cut all this out, extend it out, and then cut the new fuel filler that I have and extend it out more too. I might just have to do it that way. I'm not 100% sure about that yet. I can still work around that with doing the fender wells and trying to get that all measured and tacked in. So I could deal with that part afterwards. So right now my main goal is just to get the fender wells in and get them sitting flush with up in here for when we go and finally mold the quarter panel on, and then obviously it makes it all permanent. And then I still have to deal with these areas right here because this isn't sitting on where it's supposed to. It's like an inch pushed out too far, so I'll have to trim all of this area out. Oh, sorry. Gotta trim all this area out to get the quarter panel to actually sit flush. That way it'll sit flush down here to this piece, and then that way I'll actually get the actual width once all that's trimmed. So this was a multi-day episode for me. For you guys, obviously, it's the same video. But that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. Unfortunately, I know in the beginning of this video, I think I said that I was going to be molding. We're going to get these quarter panels completely molded on. But unfortunately, with all the additional rust and rot that I found, I ran out of time. I don't want this video to be too long, so this is just going to be all chopping it up. Next video will be welding. We'll tack welding and welding all of the fender wells into place and making sure they line up with the quarter panels, and probably fixing the rest of that rot near those rear strut towers. But for now, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a subscribe, thumbs up. I'll see you later. See ya.